If you talk about brokering, what that means is that all of these delegates are no longer tied to what the vote was like in their state. So now they can start wheeling and dealing to say maybe candidate A and candidate B can combine their delegates for one of them, or maybe candidate C and candidate D could do this sort of thing here. No matter how you do it, eventually somebody gets enough people behind them to get over 50%, and as soon as that happens, that becomes the candidate here. It doesn't matter that it was brokered, that's the candidate. So you're right. The Trump contenders out there are worried about this process, saying, what if this is a way of pushing him aside because the establishment doesn't want him? It could happen. Let's look at how it might happen. Let's say that Trump came in and that, in fact, when he arrived, he had more delegates than anybody else. We're not saying this will happen, but if it did happen. And let's say that even though he had more, he did not have enough to win outright. And more importantly, what if party leaders said he is at the ceiling of his support, he cannot get enough to win? Then they could hurry up that process of the dealing and the wheeling backstage and basically make sure that somebody who could be a consensus candidate emerges. In that case, you could have Donald Trump, or frankly, anybody else who came in with the most delegates coming in, still being the loser because somebody else was selected. But this is all theory right now, Jim. We have no idea if he's going to be the candidate. We have no idea if any of this is going to happen. We have to see some actual voting before we see if a brokered convention is even.
So there you have it. There's a lot of speculation that this may happen in the election. I've already come out and told y'all that part of the reason I'm worried about this Antonin Scalia death and loss to the Supreme Court is because I have a feeling that we may end up very well getting another Supreme Court elected president, much like we did with George Bush, where he lost the popular vote and still won the election. So we'll keep an eye on this and see what happens, but apparently there's a lot of talk that Ted Cruz is already getting in talks of doing this little brokered convention. And I guess basically what they're saying is even if you have the lead, once it's all said and done, if you don't have 50% of the thing, even if you have 49 and the next closest person has 32, they can basically sit around and have a little meeting and just pick any old candidate that they want to and give everybody else delegates to them. All right. I didn't know this was possible. Maybe y'all are more familiar with this process than I am. They say that something like this has happened before, but this sounds actually preposterous. And I guarantee you, if something like this actually does happen, and somebody like Trump is in the lead, and they give it to somebody like Rubio or Ted Cruz because he doesn't have 50%, I guarantee you the shit's gonna hit the fan. Because this sounds like a real sneaky, BS, bogus way for somebody to steal an election. And the fact that this is even a real thing, to me, is shocking. You know, it's like they purposely leave these little loopholes in all this stuff just to make sure they get the people in power they want to have in power. So this is just something for y'all to keep an eye on. I'm not real big on trying to keep up with all this election stuff because there's too many more important things going on with our currently elected leader and all this other stuff around the world. But this could be a big deal real soon. This is the kind of thing that could set off a civil war. Because I guarantee you, if Trump has 49% and they end up picking somebody else because he didn't hit 50, people are going to go apeshit. So, this is just crazy, guys. I can't even believe this is a real thing. I just wanted to bring it to your attention. Hopefully, I thought this was interesting as I did. Y'all take care. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you again soon.